You know, one of the things that's always fascinated me about the real estate industry is that if you think about it, every agent in a given marketplace is really competing on a level playing field, right? Like, we all have the same amount of time in the day. We all have access to the same MLS. We all have the ability to sell the same properties. And yet, interestingly enough, there's this spectrum, right? On the one end of the spectrum, you have agents that are just crushing it, right? They're making multiple six figures, perhaps even seven figures in particular marketplaces. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have agents that are struggling to put consistent deals together. And I'm convinced that really the differentiator between the top producers and the agents that are struggling to put consistent deals in their contract, it really comes down to mindset. You know, I think it's easy to buy into the lie that there's some secret sauce or secret formula that these agents know about that these agents don't. But I simply have come to the conclusion that it's just not true. And today, I'm going to be introducing you to an agent in my local marketplace named Mariah, who sold over 200 homes last year. So before we get to that conversation, as always, if you're enjoying the content that we're putting together on this channel, please do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel. So a little background for our listeners and viewers. Mariah and I are in the same market, and I've known Mariah for years. And before I knew her on a professional level, I saw her signs and billboards all over Norman and Central Oklahoma before I was an agent. And so I am excited to kind of get in your brain a little bit, get in your business and just learn from you. So why don't you take a couple minutes and just give us an overview of who you are and your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, it's so funny when people say that to me, because sometimes I'm like, I don't really feel like I have much to say. But yeah, I mean, just to make a very small short story of myself, I got into real estate about 10 years ago. Actually, it's been 12, 13 years. I got into leasing, graduated OU, went into leasing, realized I did not like that at all. Got my real estate license, failed miserably my first couple of years. And then I was like, I'm done. And my husband said, nope, you're going to keep going. So I kept going, and here we are now. I had absolutely no goals or dreams to be a broker. Mm-hmm. And so now here we are. I've got my real estate brokerage, and I want to say I'm almost to about 40 agents now.
Wow. That's awesome.
Crazy. I mean, it's literally, I still am like, what?
Yeah. How many homes did you guys do last year, if you don't mind me asking?
Absolutely. So I want to say we were around 235 last year. And that was with not 40 agents. We were at about, I want to say at some point, I need to go back and look, but it was like maybe 15, 20, because it just, it ebbs and flows. You know how real estate goes. Yeah.
So 235 homes last year, you're up on your agent count this year. That's incredible. What do you feel like? I love that you kind of shared the first couple years weren't maybe a super huge win for you. You had your husband encouraging you, but what clicked mentally for you that took it to the next, was there a belief system you changed? I mean, what was really the difference when you kind of look back on that?
When I saw the bigger picture that nobody was coming to save me, nobody was going to be my success story. Nobody was going to just randomly call me one day to hire me. It was all, when I realized it was all on me, and I'm the person that's going to have to make this change, that's when everything just went into another gear, because I was failing miserably.
Okay. I love that. So it sounds like really just taking a deep sense of personal responsibility was a game changer for you. That's good. Yeah. I like that. I think that would be a game changer for most people listening in every area of our life, right? Taking more responsibility.
Yeah. Nobody's going to bring you that happiness. You have to do it.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to unpack just a little bit some habits, some routines. I'm convinced that at the end of the day, the playing field is equal. You and I both have access to the same homes to sell, right? And yet some agents are making seven figures a year and some agents are struggling to provide for their family. And so I'd love for you to unpack for us and just share what are some habits or daily routines that you feel like have really led to the success that you're walking in today?
Sure. Consistency. I wake up every day and act like I don't have a job, and I'm going to say, okay, if I don't have a job and I need to make money, what am I going to do? And it just keeps me motivated, because real estate, I mean, this could all go away tomorrow and I couldn't make a dime. But when I started having the mindset of, okay, I'm jobless today, how am I going to figure out how to make money? It just kept me in this consistent grind of, okay, step one, get out there and start, throwing my name out there, talking to every single connection I have. And I just was so consistent with what I was doing. That was a huge component. And then being extremely organized. Sometimes I'll get into some of my agents' emails when, we're training and they're showing me and asking me questions. And I'm like, you have 4,000 emails in your inbox. And you can't thrive that way. And so organization is the second thing that I always preach to people is if you're not consistent and you're not organized, you're just going to swallow yourself whole. So those are my two big factors.
That's really good. That's super, I think, simple and basic in a lot of ways. But so I think so many agents come into this industry and they're looking for what's the secret? What's the magic bullet? And when you talk to top producers like yourself, you start to realize oh, there actually is no secret. It's hard work, it's consistency, it's follow-up. So I just love that you share that. So, and you have lots of homes under your belt to prove that really does pay off over the long haul. So sure. What about belief systems? Are there any specific belief? You've kind of shared some hey, I don't have a job today. How do that's a belief system that keeps you hungry and keeps you going. But are there any specific belief systems maybe about yourself, about our industry that you would share that have maybe been helpful for you?
Yeah, and a lot of this is kind of trial and error. When I first got into it, I put blinders on and I just was okay, keep your eye on the prize. What am I doing? I'm here to serve the clients. And I kind of shut out the rest of the industry. And I will say at some point that backfired a little bit because then they had a different image of me than who I really was. And so I would say now, knowing that there's enough of pie, there's a piece of pie for everyone, it's okay. And just being truly, I know this sounds so corny, but truly a humble human and a kind human. I've never not been kind to people. So that's one of my biggest belief systems is you need to treat everybody around you with kindness and consistency and just be a decent human. But I had to learn how to be humble because in real estate, when you're competing against so many people, you have to find a way. How can I grow and put myself up there? And so you throw numbers. Realtors are the most guilty profession of just I'm this, I'm awesome, I'm this, I sold this. And when I started looking at the perspective of a dentist doesn't say, yeah, I cleaned 100 teeth today, man. When I started looking at it that way, my profession as I don't need to always spit numbers and always put myself on a platform, I just feel my growth went to a different level with just people in general, people in the industry, people outside of the industry. And I was man, if that's the secret, I wish I would have known that a lot longer ago because then I wouldn't have been so, realtor-ish.
Yeah. I love that you share that. I remember being caught off guard by that when I was new in the industry. It's hard. In some ways, agents are posting their income all over. And I'm that's so interesting. No other industry, at least that I'm aware, really does that. And I know for me, it can throw me off in terms of comparison at times, And so I've personally pulled back from social media because I'm so-and-so just sold a house. So-and-so just got this listing. What am I doing? I suck. I'm a terrible agent. And so I do think there's some truth to what you said of putting on blinders, maybe not to the extent that maybe you said that you did, but of just focusing on your client, focusing on who you are and how you're showing up in your market. Right. So
for sure. And that's why they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, it really is.
For sure.
Yep. And when you're you and I, and we have so many Facebook friends who are realtors, it's all you see, I feel on your feeds, So, yeah. But there is enough for everyone. I like that you share that as well. Hey guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope that it was encouraging to you and added value to your real estate business. Hey, two things I want to mention really quickly. If you are an agent who is in my local marketplace, Central Oklahoma, and you're interested in potentially joining my team, getting phone verified hot leads, consistent coaching, accountability, do me a favor. There's a link below this video where you can book a call with my team to have that conversation and really explore what we offer as a team. If you're an agent watching this, not in my local marketplace, but you're interested in being compensated more for doing what you're already doing, receiving world-class free social media training, weekly mastermind calls, and really just taking your business to the next level, there is a link below this video for you as well. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I'll see you in the next video.